Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. In my previous videos, I was talking about the very factors and cofactors and talking about 72,000 nadis and 16,500 nadis and central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and various factors, dharma, artha, kamya, moksha, and most importantly, pancha koshas, pancha bhutas, pancha karmendriyas, pancha jnanendriyas, how exactly they need to be used and what exactly to be seen. And I was speaking about Kameshwara, Kameshwari, Prakriti and Purusha, Shiva and Parvati, and Natya Brahma, Natya Sutra Dhara, and Natya Shastra as a part of subject. See, whole of this thing is happening in the human existence level, that is earthly existence. And I was even talking about the terrestrial beings. They are fully automated and they go beyond all of this. Sorry about that. Now, let's practically understand certain things. Having created universe, having created everything, and having created this beautification of the earthly existence and having done, doesn't make any sense, right? So there has to be something like embodiments who really understand, or who really are the practical amshas. Amshas are the embodiments of Prakriti and Purusha. So-called Natya Brahma and Natya Sutradhara, when Prakriti or Mother Goddess or Lalita Devi or Durga Devi asks one question. Purusha, you have Shiva. She asks, Partha Devi asks Shiva, you have created universe, you have created everything, and you have done everything, and you have given the factors and cofactors, you have given prerequisites, you have given requirements, you have given certain limitations, talking about everything and all. How do you upkeep all of this? Then Shiva or Purusha or Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara says, Parvati Devi, listen. Here it's all about the conceivement of Anu and Paramanu at terrestrial level, which is fully automated and which is beyond all of this, all of the factors and cofactors and all of the requisites and prerequisites. When it comes to earthly existence, there are two forms. One is male, other is female, who are nothing but embodiments of me and you. Purusha is the embodiment of me, so-called Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara, and female is nothing but embodiment of Prakriti or you as a whole. And that is the reason why in Lalita Sahasranama there is one very beautiful line. Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. This Purusha says, you need to understand that Antarmukha Samaradhya aspect and Bahirmukha Sudurlabha aspect from the external beauty and the internal beauty. To understand, and one needs to have that opposite attraction. That attraction being where? That is where actually one needs to understand about the consciousness level, ladies. And that is the reason why, if you really see this dharma and artha, kama, moksha. I need to give a few examples for us. One is Mohini Bhasmasura's enactment, wherein Bhasmasura gets that infatuated. He doesn't understand the true beauty of the inner beauty of the Mohini. If only he had understood that inner beauty of Mohini deep within, he would not have got turned into ashes. And Manmadha. Why was Manmadha got turned into ashes? However, theories are there. Most of the people say that he got turned into ashes because he was disturbing the privacy of Shiva and Parvati or whatever it is. It's not that, ladies and gentlemen. The internal meaning of that is one needs to be clean from inside, clean from outside. One should not have that kind of thinking where it is harming someone or seeing someone, the opposite sex in the prakriti from a what I should say, a negative point of view, and start acting insane. That is the internal meaning of it, ladies and gentlemen, which you need to understand. Ravana abducted Sita. It is for the that fatal attraction which he had. He did not understand that Sita was already engaged to Rama there. He was trying to disturb. He didn't get to that. He crossed all the boundaries in a negative way. If only he had understood that Sita Devi is Janani, Jagat Janani, or she is having certain qualities. She is the daughter of Bhudevi. She is the embodiment of Prakriti. She is one who is representing Mother Goddess, or she is one who is representing Durga Devi or Lalita Devi. His ending would not have been like Rama killing him. Though Ravana was having highest level of knowledge. His knowledge base was at peak level. He could control 9 planets. And we need to take the reference of Atri and Anasuya as well over here. Anasuya, when Atri went, what you call this is the birth of Gurudatta. Okay. When Atri Mahamuni went out for taking bath or doing all the austerities of Sandhya Vandana, whatever that he has to do, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara and they ask Anasuya, we want you to serve the food. Serve the food. Naked. Anasuya being, again, Amsha or the embodiment of Mother Goddess or Lalita Devi. Treats Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara as her own kid. Just like a mother giving milk to the baby, just born baby. Just born baby. Understand, this is the beauty of Vedas and Upanishads. This is what one needs to understand about the very meaning of the beautification, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where lies, or that is what differentiates human existence in terrestrial world. It's a very hard point though. Today, the word called sex as per medical science is being exploited by one and all. The sexual act that happens between male and female is something which is supposed to happen by default, because that is what is the ritual of the marriage, right? Male and female are getting married, that means that fatal attraction would be there. Will that what you call serve any, will that give any solution to this earthly existence, of their existence? No, right? So here is where one needs to understand the very aspect of procreation. Procreation in the sense taking the generation forward. This cycle should be following. Though here, if that that divine act or that conceivement or that intercourse between father and mother, Purusha and Prakriti, Shiva and embodiments of Shiva and Parvati, Amsha of Prakriti and Purusha. What is happening is, here both the counterparts, considering the requirements and the prerequisites, become one, and thus they produce so-called Ansha, who is the procreated individual who will take the baton further, who does the required austerities when he or she is leaving as per the required guidance, which are nothing but when the procreated individual who is born, his responsibility is to make sure that he fulfills the very requirement of this created, this created, this, benefactors, these benefactors due to which he has come out, to do that. When the mortal coils, when the body of father and mother is left out or expires, it is the duty of procreated individual to do all the required austerities of cremation with all due respects, with certain principles laid down. That is the reason why this sexual act comes into picture. In between these karmic deeds or whatever it is, this procreated individual will suffer. That is a different aspect altogether. But this is the reason why that natural act of sexual intercourse is supposed to happen. From the dharmic point of view, I am talking from the dharmic point of view. I am not talking from the adharmic point of view. Not from the fatal attraction point of view. Not from the, the pleasures. Not from the, whatever pleasures, like, let's say, like, whatever it is. Just because I got attracted doesn't mean I try to do that act. Today that is what is happening, due to which lot of disturbances are happening in the ecosystem. And this is what differentiates that terrestrial existence. And that is the reason why I say nanobots and chipbots are, do create that imbalance in the ecosystem. And as per Upanishads, from the spiritual direction, it emphasizes on that body which is not true self and transcends the physical through spiritual practices. And this is where, see, when this natural act of sex starts happening, that illusion and that delusion point goes off, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. And most important of all, that higher level of bliss form, highest level of bliss form, which is nothing but that fleeting world or the delightfulness during the bhoga or the enjoyment part which happens. Doesn't make any sense at all. The point is, one needs to really understand this natural act of sex, or that attraction of male and female on the earthly existence is primarily for the procreation only, nothing more than that, to upkeep that. And if you really see from the Anu and the Paramanu point of view, if you really see at a terrestrial being, at a terrestrial being level, okay, there, let's say like Jupiter, let's say Jupiter comes into contact with Earth. Dashes, like, comes, throngs into Earth. The kind of devastation will be more. Likewise, flares of the sun, if they are emitted, they get directly, that constellation happens, the constellation of two planets. So at a terrestrial level also it is there. But let's talk from the earthly existence, wherein earthly beings, or the earth as a whole, in this earth, male and female, if he or she crosses those boundaries, the resultant force, the resultant thing, that procreated individual who comes will have certain disorderly functions due to DNA, RNA and other genetical disorders. If we see from the scientific point of view, whole of this concept of the sex as a word, it is more or less talking about two different entities. Let's not talk from the spiritual point of view, or let's not talk from the any other point of view. Let's not go into Vedic and Upanishadic philosophy, or let's not talk from the yogic point of view, or whatever it is. This Samayoga, this constellation of male and female, both together, if you really see, what happens is, there is certain energy force that is created deep within in the Prakriti. Prakriti is nothing but embodiment of Mother Goddess or Lalita Devi. Prakriti again is represented by female. Female is again represented by mother. And that is the reason why mother or Stree is given that highest level of place, ladies and gentlemen. You need to understand this. Everyone needs to understand this. Natya Shastra, all in all, if you really see, it talks about 72,000 nadis or whatever it is. It talks about the dharma, artha, kamya, moksha. It talks about pancha bhuta tattvas, pancha dhyanendriyas, pancha karmendriyas, pancha koshas, or whatever it is. But they are factors and cofactors, and they are requisites and prerequisites for what you call the human existence, or male and female counterpart on this earthly existence. to understand those boundaries and limitations and come into constellation and make sure that that sexual act, which is more or less as a spiritual blissfulness state, gives that procreation process moving on. Today I see that not everyone on this earth. I see some of the kids being born with disorders, special disorders, some with mentally disorders, some with blindness, some of them with one finger going, some of them having ADHD, some of them epilepsy, some of them likewise, to name a few in the medical terminology. Why those things happen? That intercourse, sexual intercourse which you are doing, needs to be understood by and large from the divine point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, understand this. And this is where that ecosystem's balance or imbalance makes more sense. The ecosystem's balance or imbalance is dependent on the individual's existence with his or her thought process at a psyche level or the psychology level or the psychosis level or at the psychiatric level. Try not to exploit the word called sex. It is by and large a vast subject. Sex subject is not a taboo subject. It has to be understood at its face value, at its real meaning. Get that into the mind, ladies and gentlemen. This characterization, these requisites, these prerequisites, these qualities, whatever it is, you say whatever character, be it Mohini, be it Savitri Devi, be it Anasuya, be it Sita Devi, be it whatever names you kept, XYZ name. They are created by Parvati Devi herself to show that this is the way Prakriti should be, this is the way Stri should be, this is the way female should be, this is the way XYZ should be. Stri or woman or girl or whatever it is. Wife. They have to be understood that. Likewise, Purusha or male or Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara himself, he has undergone various characters. From Sura point of view, Sura's point of view and Asura's point of view as well. If only Natya Brahma or Natya Sutradhara would not have created Manmatha character to show that difference, that you need to understand this human existence from this view, or think the Prakriti, treat the Prakriti the way it is. Manmatha would not have got turned into ashes. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. And if only Bhasmasura who had seen Mohini, he would not have with a positive mindset, he would not have got into Bhasma. That is a very key point, ladies and gentlemen, which one needs to understand. Though it is very hard to understand. Today, that is the reason why you find apathies or whatever it is, say. Thus, I conclude this video with a positive note. Stay blessed. Have a real blissful life. May the Guru's grace be with all. Have a nice day.